Hello and welcome back. In this section, we will write code for training the model we developed in the previous session. The objective here is to monitor loss and accuracy of the training set as well as the loss and the accuracy of the validation set. Through this, we will be able to know whether the model that we have developed is working as we expect. I want to start this video by fixing an error that we made in the previous session. If you look at our last layer of the model, which is this one, it doesn't have the layers like the others. If you look at this, it has tf.layers.flatten. This one doesn't have any layer, it only has metrics. So we forgot to put a layer here, and if you remember very well, we said we are going to put a dense layer. So let's do that. tf.layers.dense. Then we need to open and close here. Then we save, and everything should now be fine. Let's start by having an asynchronous method. We're going to put it just below the get model. So async, we're going to call it train model. Then we need to import our model, so you can just copy this. And if you remember how we got our data here, we can also get our data here because we will be feeding the model with the data. So those are the first two things that we need to do before we can proceed. We need to monitor our metrics, and our metrics here will be metrics equals we are going to have 4 metrics. The first one will be loss, the second one will be validation loss, the third one will be accuracy, while the last one will be validation accuracy. Remember, we are using the layers API, and loss is computed on each batch, while accuracy is computed on the whole dataset after every epoch. After this, you're going to prepare the data tensors, and to achieve this, we need the batch size, the train data size, and also the test data size. We are going to start with small batches. Const batch size equals, we are going to start with 512, a batch of 512. Then const train data size. We're going to use 5500 because we are testing faster whether the system is working. We'll start with a small batch of 5500. Const test data size. Test data size will have 1000. Here we need to make 2 data sets, one for training and one for validation. The validation set will never be shown to the model. The data class that we will provide will make it easy for us to get tensors from the image data. We need to start with the input labels. So train XS and train YS. This is equals to, we put this data in a tidy, tf.tidy. When you use tidy, we mean that this function is executed only once. So we are going to release a lot of memory for future processes. So it's always good to wrap whatever we are doing in a tidy so that we can release the computer memory. So const d equals data. Remember we imported data. Next, train batch. Then train data size. Train data size that we defined earlier. Then we are going to return d, and we reshape the data to the shape that we want it to be. So train data size, we are going to reshape it to 28 by 28 by 1. Then we are also going to take the labels and let's close this and save. We are doing this to make it easy to get the tensors from the data image, and we had to reshape the tensors into the shape expected by the model. I'll just copy this. This is for the data, training data, and this is for the validation data. So const, instead of train sample, we're going to change this to test XS and test YS. Now instead of train batch, we are going to use test batch size. Again here we are going to use test data size, reshape as usual. Then here we also get test data size. So we are doing the same thing. I think there is an error here. We are having 1, not 2, because this is a grayscale image. We cannot have 2. So let me see whether we have done it well. So test. This should be fine because this is the data set for training and we are converting it to a format that can be fed into the model. Same with this. So what we need to do next now that we have done this, we're going to fit this data in the model. We need to return model. Remember we imported model.fit. So we are fitting the data in the model, and this is train. It was train data set, train XS. Then there's train YS. If you can find these constants, it's good to pick them instead of typing so that you don't keep making the same mistake that you see me making. So curly braces. Inside here we are going to determine the batch size, and this batch size is the same as the one that did we define it? Yeah, we did define it up there. So batch size, and then we are also going to put the validation data here, and this validation data, it's the test XS and test YS. Epoch, number of times that the training is going to take epoch, 10 epoch, then shuffle. Of course, you have to shuffle the data to make sure that the arrangement is not creating a pattern to the model. So the arrangement is random. And then we'll have the callbacks, and for the callbacks we are going to use fit callbacks. This has a problem because we didn't define it here, so here we need to define fit callbacks. Fit callbacks equals tv. So here we're going to display our data, tvs dot show dot fit callbacks, and this takes a container and metrics. We have also not defined the container, so const container equals, container has a name, and the name will be model training. It also have styles, and for the styles we're just going to give it the height, and this height can height of 1000 pixels. Before we continue, I would like to let you know that this is a playlist, so make sure that you follow these videos in order. So if you are new, you need to start with video 1. If you are a returning subscriber, you need to start or continue, you need to continue from where you left. And in case you are wondering how you can get to this playlist, if you go to the comments section, I have put a link on how to get to the playlist. In case I forget in any of the videos, go to my name, click on my name here, then playlists, and this playlist is on JavaScript Machine Learning. Click on play all, then you can continue from there and select from where you left. If you feel that what I'm doing is right, like the video. If you want to help someone else, share the video. If you'd want to watch the video again in the future, you can save it. And also remember to activate the notification here. So if you click on this, when video number 11 is uploaded, you'll be able to know that video number 11 has been uploaded. Additionally, there will be a red subscription button here. Click on it to become a subscriber and part of the community that is going to grow very soon. This is a fairly new channel, but the progress is good. So for now, let us catch up in the next video, where we are going to continue from where we left. That is video number 12.